first song will wake us all up, including myself. Oh yeah. All right, this will get us going. All right. Keep up. Hey! Ooh, yeah. I used to think maybe you love me. Now, baby, I'm sure. And I just can't wait till the day when you knock on the door. Now, every time I go out for the mailbox, gonna hold myself down. 'Cause I just can't wait till you write me you're coming around. Well, right now, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, and don't it feel good? All right now, and don't it feel good? Hey, yeah. I used to think maybe you loved me. Now I know it's true. And I don't want to spend my whole life just waiting for you. Now I don't want you back for the weekend, not back for a day. No, no, no. I said, baby, I just want you back, and I want you to stay. All right now, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, and don't it feel good? Hey, all right now, and don't it feel good? Hey, all right now, and don't it feel good? Yeah. Woo. Walking on sunshine. Walking on sunshine. Here we go. I feel the love, I feel the love, I feel the love that's really real. I feel the love, I feel the love, I feel the love that's really real. I'm on sunshine, baby. Oh, I'm on sunshine, baby. Oh, sunshine, baby. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, and don't it feel good? Hey, all right now, don't it feel good? Oh, I said again, and don't it feel good? Oh, yeah, now, and don't it feel good? Do it, 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 don't it feel good? Yeah. Woo.
Good morning. We had our murder mystery on Friday. Can everybody who participated as far as crew and cast please stand up so we can thank all of you? Especially Gus, who was our MC. So for a total, well, we had $640 in admission, $180 in 50-50 with two winners, for a total of $820 for the event. Thank you, everybody.
Don't it feel good? Oh yeah. Don't it feel good? Oh yeah. Don't it feel good? Oh yeah. Right. If you're not singing that, it ain't my problem. But they're going to hospitalize me for a few days because revision surgery requires a little bit more effort. And I'll quote the doctor, forget everything you learned from the first surgery because none of that is applicable here. And I went, and the pain? He said, oh, that's the same. So what they're going to do is they're going to use the same scar that they use. I thought they were going to, same one. Give me an anesthesia, right? Thank God. Open it up, take that thing that I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to nickel. Then they're going to, before they do that, they have to, forgive my vernacular here, they have to scrape some bone away. And then he said specifically we have to take all the scar tissue out. And he said, and that's going to cause you pain like you've never experienced. And I went, I'm not going to affirm that, but I hear you. You know? And then give me another anesthesia in the knee, and then another one where the scar tissue is being taken out. So they hospitalize me. I wake up in pain, and then you stay there until they manage your pain, however that is. But the first thing they're going to do after they wake me up is bend the knee and get me on a walker. So they're clear, he's clear, exactly what needs to happen, and he said you go to physical therapy 3 times a week for 6 weeks, where you will cry some more with the pain, and you'll suck it up, and in 6 weeks you'll be playing pickleball. So I went, I'm good with that. So I'm just going to live through that. So I'll have a little bit of time off at the latter part of January to take care of myself for all that wonderfulness. So, but thank you, and continued prayers for speedy recovery and a painless experience. Please. So that's my prayer request. So thank you for that. We have a wonderful thing coming up the aisle. Some of you have seen this before. This is our change jar. We have 2 more Sundays, today and next week, with which to put change in there. End of the service, you see, we've only got a little bit left. You know, it's probably a lot more change can fit in there than it looks. But in 2 weeks, we're closing it off. And then the whole month of November, we're going to be accepting guess, Guess, on how much money's in there. And you buy a ticket. Tell us how much money you think is in there. And then at the first week in December, some lucky folks, and it'll all be audited, so don't worry about it, to count it all and come up with the dollar value. And whoever's the closest gets half the money collected on the raffle for how much was in there. And of course, all the proceeds go to our sound system. And we're moving up the ladder on our sound system funding. Originally about $30,000. We don't have an exact figure right now, but it's moving up, and that was the whole intention, to entice you, shall we say, to receive something, i.e. 50% of the money that's going to be generated from the raffle, but also to buy in that you bought the sound system, not the church, which is a very different mindset. That's that concept. And today's talk is a prosperity talk so that we can wrap our heads around what does it mean to be prosperous. So we'll dive into that. So put your pennies, your nickels, your quarters in there today and next week. You know, empty out the couch. You know, go through the last winter's jackets. Go through the purses you put away, and boom, you're going to have $4 or $5. Throw it in there, and the one that's the closest will get 50% of the raffle. The tickets are going to be how much, Joan? Make it up as you go along. How much are we selling those raffle tickets for? $5 for 2 guesses. And if I want to give you $10, do I get 6 guesses? Oh. See, I am not in charge. I just want that to be very clear. Okay, so 2 guesses for $5. So you put it on a piece of paper, and then we'll figure it out and tell you. So the first Sunday in December, we will award the winner. And you do not need to be present, but boy, that would be exciting to see the look on your face when you win. So come the first Sunday in December, if you're not already coming. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Thank you very much. Okay. So where 2 or more are gathered together, their prayer is in the midst of us. So let us formally open up our service with our daily word. And today's daily word is prosperity. If you're not familiar with the daily word, it's a bi-monthly magazine that comes out, gets mailed to your house, about $25 a year, and you have a daily word for each day of the year. And today, October 23rd, is prosperity. And the affirmation is, With God as my source, I live abundantly. With God as my source, I live abundantly. No matter how much I have in the bank, the kind of car I drive, or the house I live in, I know these things are mere manifestations of abundance. The source of all prosperity is good. I look beyond appearances to find a deeper meaning of prosperity. Meaningful work that I enjoy doing is part of my prosperity, not only because of what I earn, but also because of the satisfaction I feel when I use my skills. My house becomes a home when filled with people I love and care for. My financial resources don't diminish, but multiply when I share them generously. As I look beyond the good things in my life to the love, the creative insight, and the limitless flow of divine ideas that brought them into manifestation, I discover true abundance. Proverbs 8:18 says, "Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity." And so it is. Amen. And speaking of our sound system, we live in a dome, so there are uniquenesses to this perfect sound that we all would like to have. So if you're sitting here and experiencing some issues hearing me, Donna, or anything else that's going on, the outskirts of the dome are perfect sound. So if that happens to you, feel free at any point to pick yourself up and put yourself on the side of the building. And then we're paying attention to that so we know where the hiccups are in the sanctuary. So I just wanted to remind you that. I never want you to show up here and go, sound like you gave a really talk, just don't have an idea what you said. Go on the side of the room, if that happens for you. And with that, why don't we join Miss Donna one more time for Every Notion for our congregational song, and I invite you to stand for this.
Words I say come back to me.
My every notion was energy in motion.
I choose my words carefully.
My every notion puts energy in motion.
With my thoughts I build my life anew, anew, anew life. As I speak, my words are power.
My every notion puts energy in motion.
My life opens up like a flower.
My every notion puts energy in motion.
Words and thoughts are seeds that grow. This is why I know.
My every notion puts energy in motion. My every notion puts energy in motion. What you say is what you get. What you say is what you get. A lifetime guarantee you bet. That's what you say is what you get.
What you get?
When I feel I've lost my way,
My every notion puts energy in motion.
I find perfect words to say.
My every notion puts energy in motion.
Look within, I make a choice. I take a breath, I live my voice. Yeah, I do. I live my voice.
My every notion puts energy in motion. My every notion puts energy in motion. My every notion puts energy in motion.
My every notion puts energy in motion.
Woo-hoo! I'm your platform assist today. So I've heard some grumblings about the cookies, that it's just too inviting on Sundays to be putting up a picture of cookies. But the truth is that we're going to serve milk and cookies this Thursday night for those of you that would like to spend a little bit more time with me, the minister, and to learn more about the ministry. So we're going to meet here at 6:30, I believe, 6 o'clock. Remember, no, Mo, that's 6 o'clock, not 6:30. 6 o'clock. Just come here. Some of you have RSVP'd. Please let us know if you're planning on coming. Just call the office, leave a message, because we're going to make cookies, and they're going to resemble something about Halloween. Just saying. So for those of you that like Halloween cookies, who knows? So, so come join us. Come join us. We have a yoga laughter workshop coming up with my dear friend, Reverend Marcia, who lives just up the street a little bit. Some of you know Marcia McCartney. Her gift is laughter, genuinely. That is her gift, and so she's putting it in connection with the yoga exercise. So come join us. There's a sign-up sheet for this out in the narthex. So she's going to join us on Saturday the 5th for just 2 hours. So it's not it's 2 hours of fun and a little bit of yoga. So she's fully aware of the age and makeup of our congregation, so don't sweat it. Don't do it. Just come and join us. And that's at 10 o'clock to noon, and the suggested love offering is $10. Bring a couple of, you guys all know people who do yoga and stuff. Bring them in, and who thought yoga could be laughter? I know I've taken a yoga class, and I didn't laugh at all through that whole thing. So this could be fun. So come on and enjoy the wonderfulness of Miss Marcia. There's also 12-hour healing meditation coming up, and that's November 6th, Sunday after the service, 11:45. It's enough time for you to enjoy fellowship, and then come back and enjoy Reverend retired minister Anne Marie as she does what she's good at, which is teaching. She's very good at that, and so she's going to espouse on us the 12 powers, which are what we in Unity would call our own personal chakras, which are all good. So good, come for that. And that's a love offering as well. There's going to be a CPR AED training class. Some of you may have attended this a few years back. We're going to have a sign-up sheet going around. Miss Donna Keaton is organizing that. This is one of her billywhacks. So we're trying to do that at least a couple of times a year. And I think it's been 3 years since we've done it. So it's good to take a refresher. And most of you probably know that they're not doing the mouth-to-mouth anymore. It's a whole nother process for that. So, be informed, be aware, and come join us, because the more that we know how to save somebody's life, the more chances there are for the life to be saved. So come join us for that. And again, I mentioned we have a sign-up sheet, because we do need to know the number of people who will be attending that event. That's important. And again, that's just 2 hours. It's from 10 to noon on November 19th. Holiday decorating, believe it or not, somebody posted on Facebook. Does this? It said 66 days till Christmas. And I refused to count it to see if it was right. I was like, not going there. Whatever. So we're going to, next week, would this be fair to say that next week we're going to be handing out a flyer for everybody to take home? And what we've done in the office, Miss Tana, thank you very much. You guys don't know Miss Tana. Tana's behind the scenes. She does all the PowerPoint stuff. And she's always on YouTube watching us live. She's a godsend. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman that's been doing this PowerPoint stuff for years and years. All good stuff. So where was I landing with that? Oh, so we've created a little sheet of paper that you can pop on your refrigerator that has all of the details about what we're doing this holiday season and when, because it's a little out of sorts this year, because Christmas and New Year's fall on Sundays. So it changes the way things are perceived. We do a Christmas Eve service, so we're going to do a Christmas Eve service on Saturday night, Christmas Eve, and then the big question is, well, are we having service the next day? And the answer is yes. We abbreviated service, because it is Christmas Day, and we're aware of that stuff. So next week when you come, you're going to be given a complete detail of all that's happening for the holiday season here at Unity Spiritual Center, so that you are aware. Pop it on the refrigerator, wherever you need to do. But the first thing is decorating the church, which is why we bring it up today, because it's right around the corner. Because what we do here is we decorate the church 4 Sundays before Christmas. That's the way we look at the calendar. Not the first Sunday necessarily in December, which this year falls on. And so we're going to be decorating the church on November 26th, Saturday. So we'd appreciate you signing up and letting us know you're going to help decorate mostly the sanctuary, but a few things in the rest of the building as well. And please sign up in the narthex for that. But that's our first event, which is only a month away. So just saying. So come help us decorate the church and make it look as festive as possible. I'm out of breath. Okay, prayer box. There's a prayer box at the back of the room. And George Neal, who is our chaplain today, will be picking up those prayer slips at the conclusion of the service. He'll make sure that the rest of the chaplains know of your prayer request, and then we then send those prayer requests over to Silent Unity, which is located in Lee Summit, Missouri, in Unity Village, and that chaplain program will pray over those slips for an additional 30 days. So in the prayer box, much like the song that Donna just shared with us, what you give your attention to grows. What you say happens. So it's important that when you fill out that prayer slip, you tell us what you would like to have happen, not focusing on what is happening, but rather, for example, I shared with you that I would like to live a pain-free life. I would like that very, very much. And so when I have pain, I shift that and I go, this is what I want, rather than focusing on the pain. Prayer requests are the same way, what you give your attention to, because if I give my attention to the pain, then what do I get to experience? More. And that's not what I want. So I'm giving my attention to being pain-free. Free. So I would put that on a prayer request. So put what you want to have happen, and let us pray with you, and let us send that off to Unity Village as well. And with that, let us get still for our meditation. I know some of you, this may be the only time in your life this week that you've had an opportunity to get still and to pray. You see, prayer is talking to God like a prayer request. But meditating is listening to God. And God can be defined as intuition, the spirit within, higher power, Muhammad, whatever you term that entity within you that somehow gets to you and guides you. Whatever you choose to call that. So we bring that forth, that name that we choose to call God. And we gently close our eyes, if you haven't already done so, if you're comfortable. Put both feet on the ground, because we want to feel the stability of the earth. And if you can open your palms, we're being open and receptive. It's a gesture, but it also sets the mind up to receive. So we quietly, in our own ways, allow the chair to support our back, and we let go. We let go of all notions that we know what's going to happen. We don't. We know what we would like to have happen. But with God, all things are possible. Unlimited possibilities with God. Therefore, we can go into our time with God in an assurance that all is well in our universe, that what will happen will be for our highest and possible good. So we let go of what we think we know and become open and receptive to what we don't know, the good that is forthcoming. We are told that it is all good, but until our minds recognize that truth, it seems contrary. But for this moment, we're going to take on the knowingness that with God, it leads me to my highest and possible good, even in the unknown. For our human mind is limited, but our spiritual mind is open and receptive to all that awaits us. And because this is our quiet time with God, I invite you now to breathe in the attributes of God: love, peace, joy, harmony. Conscious breath, and we let go. We let go. We take another nice breath, knowing that the unlimited possibilities of God are now being breathed into us. And we can even lend ourselves to an inner smile, because what awaits us is good. The fear is not there. Whatever might be troubling your heart, we turn it over to that wonderful Spirit of God. We say, yes, God, I am open and receptive to all that awaits me. And if you're brazen, bring it on, God. I'm ready. I'm ready for the good. I'm ready for more good in my life. I'm ready for all the people around me to experience the good in life. We give ourselves permission to feel the presence of that sweet Spirit within us. For the Spirit of that Christ presence, that all-knowingness resides within each of us. It makes no difference whether you know it or not, or even feel it. The truth is, it is still there. So in our time of quiet, we bring forth the feeling of appreciation, of knowing that we are in the presence of God. Bring that appreciation feeling into our quiet time as we listen to the still small voice of God. Ever so gently bring yourselves back to this moment of now, and in your own way give gratitude for the opportunity to listen to that still small voice. And so it is. Amen.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow you will. You will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like the summer birds too swiftly flew away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I'd never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. They don't always happen when you ask, and it's easy to give in to your fears. But when you're blinded by your pain and you can't see the way, get through the rain, a small but still resilient voice says, help is very near. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. Oh, when you believe.
I know some of you might be only the first or second time you've come here, and some of you may have been here for a good bit of time and probably never noticed all of this on both sides of the room. And today's talk is Prosperity Lesson 1. And I realized the moment that I said that it was going to be a Prosperity 1 lesson, that meant that there might be a 2 or a 3. And the truth is that each lesson is a 1. And I realized that, and I went, oh, cool. So when you hear a talk coming that says Prosperity Lesson 1, know that it's not the same one. It's another way, because there isn't any order to our prosperity consciousness. It just is. And it was interesting that I probably get this 3 or 4 times a year. How come you don't talk about prosperity? And I just shake my head, go, what do you think we're talking about? This is all prosperity. Above the line and below the line behavior is all prosperity. And I took the liberty of what does the dictionary say? So there's two in dictionary.com, and in Webster it says, a successful, flourishing, or thriving condition, especially in financial respects, good fortune. Because when we think of prosperity, we go right to our pocketbooks, don't we? If you don't, that's cool. Because prosperity is so much more than the pocketbook. You see, although that's usually the prayer request that goes, I want more money. Help me with my bills. God, come on, give it up. And those aren't prosperity principles. Those are what we call in the unity movement, here it comes, begging. Sometimes it's the last resort. We don't know what else to do. Beseech God and go, come on now, right? And then, of course, in the world, when we don't get what we want from God, who gets the blame? God. When God's like, say what? I put the boat around 3 times. You never got in the boat. It's the same concept, the same idea, because see, when we start beseeching and or begging God for something we want in our lives, it's below the line. We're closed. Our consciousness is closed to that concept because the 5th agreement in unity, the 5th principle in unity is to use the gifts given with our feet and our hands and our mouths, move the principles, do something with our knowledge. So one of our other tenets is we pray and meditate. Now, unity's no fool. We don't say you must pray and meditate every day. But it is kind of implied to spend time in the silence or guided, whatever brings you closer to your relationship with God, but to also be in a mindful state. And you see, curiosity is a big deal here. Are you curious when things don't happen right in our lives? Now, I know our age bracket here, and some of you are in fear of getting old by yourselves. I understand that. That feeling of being alone and fearful that that might happen, or it might be happening in your life right now, that you feel alone. So what would be your prayer request? You see, because prosperity is sitting there in our aloneness. There's your opportunity in your window to recognize that this is the prayer request. So is the prayer request at that point to bring more people into your life so you don't feel alone? Maybe. How about the prayer request is, I have everything I need, and I'm open and receptive to all that happens? A whole different prayer request. Yes, because remember, God knows our needs before we even know what the need is. We forget that because you're only entitled to one thing with God: unconditional love. You're not entitled to prosperity with God. Unconditional love with God. And when you really take that to heart and live in that principle of truth for you, you can then, with an open heart, become curious as to what's going on in our lives that seems to be bringing something less than prosperity. Whether it's in our pocketbook, our home life, anything. Because prosperity is a contentment and a feeling of, I'm good. The world is good. Even though there's all that stuff going on out there, what's going on within you? And when you become curious as to what's going on for you that's causing you to feel a sense of not enough, however that's defined, you get to find out what it is you're really thinking. Much like the song said, what you think becomes your reality. That's the privilege of God. You create. And so when we get stuck in a rut of lack, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, there isn't enough, we get stuck in this cycle that we tend to pick up and become our truth when it isn't our truth. And we have to get out of that. We're not running the Indianapolis 500 where you're going around the track over and over and over again. No, it's a different route all the time. All the time. We have to become curious, open, and committed to learning what it is I need to learn to get out of that rut. Whatever that is, you have to go within and say, you know what, God? I'm in a pickle here. I'm feeling this. I don't want to feel that. And see, and sometimes we go into metaphysical malpractice and deny that we're feeling a negative thought. How many of us do that? Yeah. It's a natural flow because we teach affirmations, we teach positive statements, and so therefore I'll say, it's all good, it's all good. It ain't good. And when we can admit it and trust our community to not go, oh, you have a prosperity consciousness problem. Please don't do that. When you hear somebody else express a concern in their lives, what's your number one go-to? Prayer. Pray for that person. That's what our unity movement is about. It's prayer. We're a spiritual community. So when someone says, I'm in a pickle, I got stuff going on. Wow. Get curious. Get curious about your life. What is it you're actually affirming? Because that's what you're getting. And it's your job to change that. To say, you know what? And the one way that we can answer our curiosity question is to get still. To go within and go, you know, God, help me out here. You know the sincerity? You know what it is when the kids say, oh, I'll never do that again. You almost believe them. Because you want it to be the truth that it won't happen again. But you know darn well it's going to happen again. Right? It's the same thing. We have to be able to find what it is we're affirming that is bringing something less than good in our life. And when you can find out what it is, you now know what to change. So curiosity is a prosperity lesson. It's above the line behavior. It's a notion that when we go within, the answers will be provided if you want them. You see, because we have free will. It's the good news and the bad news with God. Because how boring would life be if we got everything we asked for? What was it, Garth Brooks? It's a thank God didn't answer all prayers. Right? Imagine if you had gotten everything that you asked for. Ooh. I remember being in a car on the way to a concert, and the woman that was driving was really crazy making. I mean, the way she was driving was scaring the bejeepers out of me. But I also wanted her to get there fast because we left late, and I didn't want to miss the opening act. So I realized sitting there, and this is before I came to Unity, I went, God, get me there safely, but please, really? This? We got into an accident. We were not hurt on any level. Thank you. She had an awakening. She had an awakening that her driving was erratic. Now, did I cause the accident by my prayer request? I like to think, yeah, maybe. My ego tells me I did. But the truth is that it always works itself out. But what was the prayer request at that moment was for her to learn to not drive like that, even though I wanted her to drive like that to get me where I needed to go. You see the conflict in that? So curiosity. What is it you really, because I can tell you what your prayer request is by what you have. You've manifested that. Good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. You see, because God doesn't care either what you have or what you don't have. Only you care. And the more we spiritually develop our consciousness as we go up the spiral, the more aware we are of what we need and what we don't need. What we eliminate, what we hang on to. We get to decide that. We get to be more aware of that factor that we are in charge of what we manifest. It's the hardest thing for us, especially when we feel like we don't have enough. We don't want to blame ourselves and put ourselves down, because that's the metaphysical malpractice. But what we want to do is say, I have some room for growth in this area. Let me see what I can do about that. And then the prayer request changes. But when we don't know what's creating what it is in our lives by our words, our thoughts, and our actions, It's time to get curious. It's time for you to get still and take a look at what's happening in my life. What's happening in your life that's manifesting, A, when you asked for B. And we don't have to beat ourselves up about it. That's the beauty of it. We just shift. We make a change rather than doing it all and blaming ourselves and blaming God. God doesn't listen to me. I never get my prayers answered. I know. I've been there, and still am there in a lot of areas of my life, but working on it. Well, that isn't what I want, for God's sakes, I no more wanted a knee issue than the man on the moon. But here I am. So do I whine, cry about it? Yeah, I did the first 6 weeks. A little bit of the 8th and 9th and 10th week too. Because this isn't what I called for. I called for perfect healing. And what I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, my perfect healing is right there. Things are cooking in my body. I'm taking measures. Things are happening. That's all going to lend itself to my good. But I had to get real curious. And a lot of people helped me with that curiosity. Do I want it to happen again? Oh, hell no. But I'm willing to grow from it. And I hope you are too. And to not to beat yourselves up. It's so easy to get stuck in that, I'm not good enough. If I were good enough, God would answer my prayers. How many of us have said that? Yeah, thank you. It's a common go-to. Most of that is because of our upbringing. That God in the sky thing. So if I'm not good enough, then I don't get what I want. God's not out there. Everybody at the same time. God is where? Yeah. Believe that. You see, because when we get into a pickle, we tend to go back to the way we were raised. Because that's the formative years. That's the one that really stuck in. And it's taken us all these years to rethink what our formative years taught us. Deny it. I know God's within me, and I move through that. God, give me the words that I need, the message I need, and then the fun begins. Start looking for the answer. You have to look for the answer. Now, sometimes it comes landing on your lap, but most times, no. You got to look for it, because God always answers our prayers when we were open and receptive to it. You see, we're very good at denying our good. We're experts at it. So we have to shift that. Wouldn't it be more fun to be an expert of talking and receiving from God? What a good thing. So your homework. I am dead serious about this, guys. I want you to buy out the stores for the Good and Plenty. Buy a box of Good and Plenty. Put it someplace prominent. Mine's about 10 years old. It blows up a little bit over age, but don't worry about it. You're not going to eat it. Get a box of Good and Plenty. Get a box of Good and Plenty for somebody you know might be struggling with their finances. Buy the store out. It'll be all over the village news. Good and Plenty sold out in all the stores. Unknown reason. Your homework. Buy a box of Good and Plenty, and remember, you're good and there's plenty to go around. And for any thought that enters your mind that says contrary to this, you deny it. No, that's not my truth anymore. I got Good and Plenty in my life. And believe it. You don't have to fake it. Fake it till you make it kind of thing. But do it. Live your life knowing that there's good coming from God and there's plenty of it for you. There's no scarcity with God. If you think there's not enough to go around, cancel that thought. That's wrong. It is not the truth of who you are. There is plenty to go around, and you're good enough just where you are to receive it. That's prosperity lesson number 1. Wait till you hear what prosperity lesson number 2 is next time, but it's going to be 1. Godspeed. So this is a place in our service where we take up our gifts and our love offerings. And if anybody here for the first time today? I see a couple of tags. Yep. Thank you. Good to see you. You're our guest today. And knowing that truth, that you've been invited in to join us, you are asked not to contribute to our love offering. Next week, that's a whole other game. We come back. But for this moment, please accept our gift for you being here. With that, let us affirm our offertory prayer together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
Romero, Vice President of our board, to share this month's board update.
Okay, it's on, yes. I want to give you our board update, and we'd like to welcome Lisa McCarthy to the board. She's our newest member. And guess what? She has survived the meeting. And it was fun, right? It wasn't anything traumatic. So we certainly encourage others not only to attend our board meeting, but to possibly come in for the nominations, which I'll talk about in a minute. Maintenance issues were addressed as cleaning of the dome and issues with our dishwasher. And the church is just like our home. We're always in need of something of repair. We want to thank Fran Tugas for the great job he is doing in helping with these repairs and keeping the costs down. The expenses last month exceeded our income, and that was due to the septic tank. But guess what? You all can use the bathroom with no problems. So, you know, we had to spend a lot of money, but the septic tank is now working. So just like a house, the board needs to budget for these expenses, so we depend on your giving to our church home, and so that it looks good and functions very well. Okay, I also am happy to report that now our average attendance is 87. Yes. Back in the 16 months ago, it was only 40. So that was after COVID. So we've really shown an increase, and we hope to continue in this manner. And I'm happy to report that policies are finally finished. I am so happy, you have no idea. I've been working on policies for about 3 months, and I know none of you really are aware of these policies, but they will be on our website. So if you're interested, all of our policies have been updated, and each year they will continue to be updated. And nomination committee includes myself, Reverend Mo, Holly Powell, and Karen Donahue. And being on the board is really a wonderful way to grow spiritually, learn about our church, really understand the direction the church is going, and help us get there. And all the work has been done. I mean, right now to join the board is quite easy because of the fact all the policies have been done, job descriptions have been done. So now we talk mainly about maintenance and other things. So If you're interested about learning about board position, please see Holly or Karen will give you a job description of what you would be accountable for. And then again, just on November 19th, please come to the CPR class. We had a lot of fun last time. We happened to have the same EMT guy who came last time, and he was great. He did a really good job. You don't have to get down on the floor. You don't have to do mouth-to-mouth breathing. So it's a good way for you to learn, plus to learn how to use our AED. Luckily, we've never had to use it, and we hope we don't have to, but it is important to be aware of where it is, how to use it in case of an emergency. So I thank you. That's our board update.
Thank you, Renee. To extend a blessing to our guests today. With that, together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is. Amen. And now let us all stand for, at this time, for the peace song and our prayer for protection.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To I am no